What's up, everybody? It is G Mr. Drew here to welcome you to another episode of the Glowczewski Experience. This is going to be episode 119. Going to continue the character concept art. Earlier today, I busted out these two. This one in the morning, this one in the afternoon. I still hate that purple background color, but I'm going to leave it alone for now. Might be a when in doubt, black it out situation. I might just white it out with white paint marker. Who knows? I have no idea what to do with that anymore. I might as well just throw a big old rainbow over his head or something. Man sitting there with his red panties on and stuff. Either way. Yeah, I wanted to come on here. I got, maybe an hour left in the day. I had a few things to go check online after I got off last time. I was hoping to have more time for a third stream today, but whatever, it is what it is. Since I only have an hour, I at least kind of want to create something that I can, at least create in an hour. And yeah, I've decided I'm gonna continue with this character. I'm having too much fun with him. I was looking forward to working on him. I don't care that he's only in 3 stories. Matter of fact, well, I kind of already know what I'm gonna be drawing for him, and yeah, I guess I guess I guess I'll just get right to it, man. So let me adjust this. Believe it or not, I'm still watching Maximilian Dude do his randomizer run through of Resident Evil 1 Remake. There's only like not even a half hour left on the video, so it's gonna end before I end the stream. But you know, and once that ends, I'll probably end up trying to find something else to put on, or something like that. I'm sure like somebody else is live, and I'll just put them on. But yeah, I'm still watching that, so that's gonna be playing in the background. I should probably turn the volume down because I actually have something to say this time. I know I haven't really said much this week, and I was thinking about why. Like how could I, you know, I don't know how much people like tune into this to, because they really care about what I'm saying on here. You know what I'm saying? Like, people are probably just tuning in because they're really into like, the art, which is perfectly fine. That's dope. That's kind of what I'm looking for. That'd be the point. But yeah, I just posted the work that I did earlier today that I'm still coming to terms with when it comes to being happy about it. And as I went to go post it, I talk about Jung Gi a lot while I stream. He's an Korean artist, I believe, and I had the honor of meeting him in person in 2017 at CTNX. It's an animation convention, basically to find jobs and stuff like that. Back when it was like the last time I actually got close to getting a job, and to be honest, I wasn't even close to getting a job. But yeah, I had the honor of meeting the man, and I had already been a fan of him at that point, but seeing him in person and watching him perform live just kind of solidified his position in like my artist hall of fame. You know what I mean? He has all these crazy videos of making all these really dope making all these dope. There we go. Looks like it makes sense. But either way, I was gonna go make that post, and as I did, his post came up, and he had just started a. He's he had an opening recently at a museum in Vietnam, I think it is, and so he's been busy with all that, promoting that, putting up work, performing. I'm sure he's doing all his live performance art there, things like that. And since he's I can only imagine how busy he is with that stuff. Uh, he's been posting a lot of stuff that he's been doing there. And it's all dope. It's all dope shit. If you don't know Jung Gi, Jung space Gi, um, for sure. For sure look him up. Talk about talk about one of the greats. But either way, he had a post, and in there he had a couple of quotes. And in one of the quotes, let's see. There we go. And I mean, I could read the exact quote. I mean, obviously, it's right in front of me on my phone. Um, but basically, it was just talking about. Here it is. Oh no, this is a new one. God damn. Yeah, I guess his Instagram, you can find him under Kim Jung Gi US. Is this it? No, this one. Yo, how much is this guy posting right now? Like I just saw it, so it's got to be the recent post, right? There it goes. Yeah, so I'll read the quote. It says, "When I reach for my pen, I think back to the time in my childhood when I sat drawing in the sunlit room, so that I may still have with me the free and comforting feeling I had then." It's not much, but goddamn, you know, I don't know about like the people who follow me on here, anybody who's listening to this. Like, I don't know what your position is on art. Like, you go to my YouTube channel, you'll see a goofy video of me at the introduction of me, like, oh, you must be in art. And, Yeah, obviously you must be into art. Like if you're here, I would imagine. I'd hope you wouldn't be wasting your time, uh, with me if you weren't. So, um, but someone like me, I mean, even though I've been drawing forever and I've been doing this forever, I mean, literally my earliest memories are, most of them are of me drawing. It's one of the benefits of learning that you could draw early on, you know, when you learn about something about yourself when you're a kid and then you implement that, you know what I mean? It's huge. But yeah, my journey was always a bit different. Oh, he's looking angry. Why am I making him look angry? Fuck it, I guess he's angry in this picture then. And I talk about how I'm an idiot a lot, and this is what I mean when I say things like that. Is like I'm very, I just don't think about things. Like I could think about artwork, and I could think about how I could do anything as long as it's artistically related. I could talk about how I'm interested in anything and everything that's art related. Um, I guess when I focus my mind onto something, I could definitely think about it, but I tend not to spend my time focusing on things, especially when I was a kid. I would just, I guess, go with the flow, as they say. Just, and I don't know. I grew up with a weird flow, I guess. And yeah, man, it was like I always drew. This is gonna sound weird. I always drew, but it never occurred to me. Even though I was like, oh, I want to draw for a living when I grow up. Like I never thought about how how I was gonna go about doing it, if that makes sense. Like in my head, in my child brain, I was like, I'm just gonna draw, and then when I go to get a job, I'm gonna go get a job drawing. And I mean, I was in elementary school thinking things like that. Like that's just how it works. Like I was just like, yeah, that's what I'm gonna do because that's what I want to do. And you're always told you can do anything that you want, and you can be anything that you want to be, as long as you work really hard at it. And you know, I drew my whole life. I talk about how I was drawing for kids' lunch money in second grade, third grade, elementary school, middle school, high school. You know, so I was freelancing back then, and that was before I even knew what the word freelance meant. Even when I learned what freelance meant, I was so dumb I didn't know that that's what I was doing. I was just drawing for people. And yeah, I never put the business mind into it. You know, I'm 100% an artist, like 100%. I never put the business mind into it. I mean, not until recently, not until like I had to. And boy, did I have to. You know, it's funny because I think about how, you know, I was like that dumb to think that way that I did. But also, like, why was I allowed to think that? And I don't want to like sit here and be like, oh, you know, it's not my fault. It's other people's fault. No, no, it's absolutely my fault. Like I guess we all got to own up to our own mistakes, even if we were children when we made them. Um, but yeah, I never took the business route with this. I don't know how to explain it. I just never thought like to be a professional artist. I always just thought, just draw. Just draw for people. That's it. Like you're doing it. You got a family. You got a roof over your head. You know, mom and dad are there. Like, like just draw for people. It wasn't even like, oh, just draw for people and one day it'll all work out and one day it'll all come together. It didn't even occur to me like that. It was literally just draw. Just draw. Don't even draw for people. Draw for yourself when you can't even draw for people. Just draw. Like it wasn't ever like, oh, you know, you gotta earn a living. Oh, um, you know, finances and all this other stuff. Oh, if you want to live in a place like this, you got to afford that much. You got to make this much money. In order to make this much money, you have to have this kind of career or this kind of degree or this kind of this or that. Like I never thought about any of that stuff. Now I got a degree in animation. I got my bachelor's in animation. Absolutely. You know, I talk about it. I'm I think I'm botching this picture. Yeah, let me grab the eraser. Keep it in my hand just in case, because I'm starting to botch this picture. Yeah, so I just never thought about the business. And then, you know, life happens. Alright, so he's ending the stream. So let me just put on whoever's live right now, whoever I got. Kenny. Building a Mortal Kombat cabinet. Oh, that's neat. So like I probably shouldn't be shading any of this stuff on this side. Not yet, at least. You know, even, you know, now in hindsight, you know, I could see where it was like, oh, this is where I made those mistakes. I was making mistakes before I even knew I was making them. And I certainly didn't mean to. And I certainly didn't know. Like I had no idea that I was making mistakes as they were happening. You know, just no one ever talked to me. And what I mean by mistakes is like when you go to college, if anybody who's listening to this, if you haven't gone to college, this is the best advice I can give you. If you're getting a degree, and I imagine this is with anything, but especially with art, um, I'm gonna say this, and it's probably gonna sound obvious, but it certainly wasn't obvious to me, and it didn't get obvious to me until years after I graduated, and then I looked back and I saw, it and I was like, oh, So, if there's anybody out there as aloof as I am, you know, heed my word. Like, when I got my degree in animation, I had a goal. I did have a goal for sure. My goal was the same goal it was when I was in third grade and I was watching Gargoyles, and I learned, I just figured it out in my head, like, oh, cartoons are like my drawings, except they're making them move. How do I make my pictures move? I could draw my pictures all day, but I can't make them move. And and really, make them move was the word. It wasn't, you know what I mean? Nowadays, I'll describe it as like bring them to life or breathe life into them or something like artsy fartsy like that, which, I guess is like synonymous. But like when I was a kid, it was like I just want to make my drawings move, like the Batman cartoons, like the Gargoyles cartoons, like the Animaniacs, like, you know what I mean? Like Scooby Doo. Um, that was my goal. It was that simple. I'm a real simple person. And I accomplished that goal. I didn't know my goal was flawed. What do I mean by my goal was flawed? Because animation isn't make your drawings move. I mean, it could be, but for industry standards, it's it's not that. Um, so if you're, I wish I'd taken certain actions now looking back, and if I ever do go back to school, I'm definitely gonna be applying this knowledge to it because obviously the second go around is certainly gonna be better than the first. But okay, that's what I gotta do. I was sitting here struggling, like, what do I have to draw next? Um, so yeah, if my demo reel, if you can, my demo reel's on my YouTube channel. It's way back there because I graduated 2010, so you'd have to scroll back all the way down to like 2010, 2011 posts, and then you'll find my 2D characters animated against a 3D background. Um, Keep in mind, I was 21 years old. I was 20 years old when I started making it. I was 21 years old when I finished it and graduated. Um, and yeah, I made my drawings move. You better believe it. Mission accomplished, right? Give me my job. Let me start working. Let me work for Disney. Let me work for Pixar. Let me work for Nickelodeon, right? Um, Wrong, because I failed. I didn't know that my goal was flawed. I didn't know to have a bigger or a more effective dream than make my drawings move. It was, it ought to have been like learn, you gotta learn those tools and you gotta apply everything that you learn from every class into your demo reel. And that I did not do. I did not do that. I treated school like how I treated school. I was fresh out of high school. I got recruited out of high school. I started college when I was 17 years old. I got recruited out of high school, and I was a wild kid in high school. So I was a wild kid when I started college. And and I treated college like I treated any other school. Oh, oh, we still get A's, B's, C's, D's, and F's. Oh, like, you know what I mean? Like it was just the next step. Elementary school, middle school, high school, college. Like, Like it wasn't anything other than just the next school. Um, Me being who I was. Oh yeah, I gotta keep that like that. That's right. Okay. I knew I wasn't gonna keep this. Yeah, I gotta get rid of all this rendering on this half. Um, so I had classes that I liked and classes that I didn't like. And I had classes that I was good at and classes that I was bad at. And I learned lessons that I didn't think were important, and I failed at lessons that, you know, I really tried at and did, you know what I mean? Like cover the board of my success rate and implementing it, you know what I mean? Okay, so yeah, I guess I'll just, since this is going to be the easier side to shade, I'll just kind of shade them. All right, so where was I? Sorry. It's hard to carry a thought and try to draw a picture successfully. Um, so here we go. Even that, so all that is there. So then this will be, there we go. So yeah, my education, my experience and everything, it covered the board. And just like I did in regular school, I just picked up what I was good at and I dropped what I wasn't. And I never thought about my demo reel the entire way until not, basically not even the last year. It wasn't until the last 9 months when you start to apply you start to work on your demo reel. We're 9 months before graduation, at least if you're full time like I was. 9 months before your graduation is when you start taking your demo reel classes, the finals, and all that shit. It wasn't until it was presented to me like, hey, you're working on your demo now, that I was like, okay, I'm gonna work on my demo now. No problem. Again, I'm such an idiot. Um, I didn't think of my demo reel while I was while I was just taking the regular schmegula classes. I didn't think to apply every class's knowledge, ones that I liked and ones that I didn't like, um, ever. Like I just didn't think to. When it came time to like, hey, work on your demo reel now, I was just like, okay. And then I started from scratch and just created one. So that demo reel that you see on my YouTube channel is literally just 9 months worth of work. And what I'm trying to like tell you, if you haven't gone to college yet or anything like that, or you know what I mean, if your graduation requires a demo reel, things like that is your demo reel starts first class. First day, first class. You need to start soaking in that knowledge, and you're going to have all the experiences, same as me, whether it's you're good at something, you're bad at something, you're this at something, you passed at this, you failed at that, you like this, you dislike that. Never mind all of that. Your demo reel starts day one, and you want to implement everything that you learn throughout the 2 years, 4 years, whatever, 6 years, whatever, however many years you're going. And you want to apply all of that to your demo reel. When you work on assignments, those assignments should be when you're working on homework and you get to do whatever it is that you want to do. You know what I mean? You're not just doing an assignment that was given to you, but it's like, hey, create something and it's yours. You know what I mean? Not just like, hey, draw. You know what I'm saying? Like, just draw something, but it's like, make something that's yours. I would just make anything. When I took character classes, I took characters and then I would throw them out when I was done with them because I didn't care about them. I was just like, it's homework. It was work. It wasn't um it wasn't a part of my demo reel. It wasn't going anywhere. I'll worry about my demo reel when it comes to my demo reel time, which was a mistake. I could have used my classes of learning character boards and character art and all that other shit. I could have been working on characters I would have actually cared about for my demo reel at that point. Um, it never even crossed my mind to do that. Uh, and you could just take that and then apply it across the board. I'm not just talking about characters or environments or anything like that. I'm talking about everything. I kind of failed at everything. Um, just because um because yeah, man, I was like, I'm gonna get a, I'm gonna be an artist. Not because anyone's gonna allow me to, not because I you know, not because I have the best demo reel, not because of this, because I drew my entire life. And that's what I want to do, regardless of anything else. I drew my entire life, and that's what I want to do, so I'm going to get a job in it. Like, I never thought about it past that. It wasn't like arrogance or anything like that. It was just stupidity. It was like being a dummy, thinking like that the job availability was there, I guess. Not that I'm better than people or not anything like that. It was like there's job availability. Getting a job at Disney is going to be like getting a job at McDonald's, except I got the degree. So of course, I'm going to get the job over somebody who's flipped burgers their whole life. Because I got the degree, I'll get the job. Where somebody who doesn't have the degree, they won't get the job. Because you know I don't know. I don't know what you blame that on other than just me being an idiot. Um, you know, the way I saw it was it wasn't even just about me because yeah, I met people and I learned about people and this is before I knew anything about networking, so I clearly didn't network properly. You know what I mean? Again, I don't think about the business. I'm an artist. I draw pictures. I'm not here to network. I'm here to draw pictures. I don't hate anybody. I love everybody. And it's not even like I didn't even want to know you or mess with you. It's like I just didn't network. Like I knew people, I talked to people, it was all good, but it was like, yeah, I'm also just I'm just here to work because I'm just in school, and it's school just like any other school. And just like any other school, friends come and go. So it's like, yeah, we're cool and everything, and y'all are great, and we're cool, but, you know, and even with all those people, I was like, yeah, they got the degree, they did the work, they're cool, they're dope. I like their work. I'm fans of them. Like they're gonna get the job too, and then we're all gonna work together, and then some, people will figure out what they want to do after that when they realize, oh, maybe I didn't want to do that or something. Like that's when those parts of life happen, is just when people decide them to be, not when the world decides for you. And then it's like, oh, that's not how it works. So yeah, man, I'm just another person that went to that school who didn't get a job. Only, I've talked about it on here before. Only one of us, only one person I knew out of the whole 4 years that I worked there got a job at the companies like Disney and Pixar and things like that. One out of 4 years of meeting people, one got a job in that. One of my ex-girlfriends, she got a job doing props and production for the Disney theme park. Hell, I mean that's closer. I'd say that's second place. You know what I mean? Like she got a job working at Disney, and she loves that shit. She got a degree in animation. I think she switched to illustration after we broke up. I can't remember. So she might have switched to illustration. But either way, like she certainly didn't. I mean, unless prop design is a course in illustration, which I wouldn't know. But yeah, one of us got through. Another one of us pretty much got through. She's happy. I believe she's still there. So I mean, to this day, so she would have been there damn near 10 years now. Like she better be happy to do that. But everybody else, I mean, we struggled, man. We struggled to get whatever we could get. I I talked about it on here before. I got into graphic design, not because I wanted to, not because I studied it, not because I knew anything about it. I did not know anything about graphic design. It's a completely different field. It's a completely different set of skills. It's a completely different thing. And I had no idea what I was getting myself into. All I knew is that I've done art my entire life. And hey, as long as it's art related, it can't be all bad. And I could always, um, get a job in animation, uh, just keep applying myself. This is just temporary. I'm gonna pay the bills, and I guess that's what I was getting to at the very beginning of this stream when I said my art journey was different. Mine was strictly out of like survival. I never, I mean, when I was 12, I started thinking about work. I just couldn't get a job, and that was because I needed, I needed money. I needed income. You know, I didn't want to be broke. Um, and that was when I was 12. Couldn't get work, you know what I mean? Cutting lawns and stuff like that, like whatever. Like I did it, but that wasn't And then it didn't hit me to like, oh, maybe you can get a job being an artist because you're 12 years old and you draw. Like nobody ever said anything like that to me. Even though everybody knew I drew, nobody was ever, people were just like, oh yeah, he'll be an artist. So I'd be like, oh okay, I guess I'll be an artist one day. I don't know when. I just keep drawing for people. But it wasn't until I was 15. The second I could get a job, I did get a job. I started working at Dunkin' Donuts and shit like that. But the second I could get a job, I did get a job. And again, it was just out of survival. Me going to college and then taking, thinking that I was going to get a job in animation just as a given. And again, not because I think I'm so great or anything, just because I thought that that's how it worked. If you got a degree in animation, there's going to be an animation door opened for you. Why wouldn't they want young blood? Why wouldn't they want to get, you know, someone in there? You look at movie credits, you're like, yo, there's a million names there. And then there's a million movies. Like, of course I'm getting a job. But, yeah. So it was all just out of survival, man. I just did whatever I could. I never quit trying to get into animation. I talked about it on here enough, so I don't want to get into it too much. But obviously, I didn't get into it. I just never got accepted anywhere. So it's just like, okay. I mean, I self-taught myself on the job graphic design. I worked all the way up. All this stuff is on my mind just because I'm always applying to jobs and things like that now. So I have to constantly remind myself of my work history and fill out all that paperwork and things like that. That's probably why it's so readily in my mind. Um, what? Yeah, going back to Jung Gi's statement, and I said that I allowed adulthood when I retweeted or requoted, re-Instagrammed it, whatever you want to call it. Um, I said I allowed for adulthood to bastardize my art, and I did. I mean, like everything just happened so fast. Next thing I knew, 10 years had passed. I'm 10 years older, and I'm nowhere, if anything, I'm further away from getting a job than I am at, actually getting one. At least back then I had hope because I was young. Now it's just like, yo, you're old and you suck? Like give up. Like you old and nobody wants you? Just give up. Just give up. It's like I'm punished out of the necessity to work. That, you know, time being money and all that. Like I was just always it never occurred to me when I was a kid like, oh, you're even too broke to afford the time that it's going to take you to get good at something, you know? I I never would have thought that. So what light is over here? So yeah, because it was a struggle and because it was all just about, you gotta live, you gotta live, you gotta live. And then having my dad drill into my head, like how I don't have a money problem, but I have an income problem. Like, it just made me like, oh, make money, make money, make money. Don't have an income problem. Never mind the student loan debt that I had picked up. But it's just like I lost I lost like the child in me. And I don't even mean for better. I mean it for worse. You know what I mean? I lost the the child part of me that was like, hey, go like draw and be happy. That's why I'm drawing this one right now. I mean, I'm not even really focusing on it, and I tried to do something super not easy to do, and I'm like, oh, I should have probably not tried to do that while I was gonna be talking like this. Um, but yeah, I couldn't even tell you when I lost it. Like I don't know if it was like when I was 12 and thinking how I was like, okay, I'm gonna work one day, or if it was like when I was 15 when I got that first job. I walked into the Dunkin' Donuts and I literally last day of school, 10th grade, I walked, I was walking home or riding a bike home, and I just went straight with the backpack still on my back. Last day of school, just went straight to the counter. I was just like, hey, I need a job, for a summer job. And I got it. And that's all it took. And even that was like, okay, so if you just ask for work, you're going to get it. That was just another thing in my head, because that's how it worked for Dunkin' Donuts. Why wouldn't it work that way with Disney? Plus uh, a bachelor's degree to go along with it. Like I'm in like Flynn. So yeah, I don't know when I lost it, but I certainly lost it. Uh, when after I graduated and after I didn't get any work, and after 3 years of graphic design, I had already gotten laid off of the screen printing job I had started with, and ended up getting a dye sublimation job that I was lucky to get. And I worked at that company for 5 years, but I would have been about a year and a half, maybe 2 years into that company. I had realized, like, okay, I graduated 3 years before that, and I'm not getting any work in in animation. I'm gonna do the best thing that I can do. I'm um, gonna make another demo reel. Now, it took me 9 months to make a 90-second uh, demo reel. So I calculated that into my head, and I was like, and that was me working on it full time, probably, because back at that time I had like 2 jobs and full time school. I think I had 2 part-time jobs and full-time school when I made that demo reel. I never slept. um, damn. Uh, so I told myself, okay, you got to make another demo reel. You know that the reason why your demo reel sucks this time or the first time around was because you need to do all you did was make your drawings move. Like I animated them. There's it's a whole fight scene. Like don't get me wrong, I didn't just make a move, but you know what I mean. Like I didn't apply any story. So I said you need a story, which they don't teach you that in college. At least not in the school that I went to. They don't. They talk about story a whole lot, but they don't have like an actual storytelling class. They have a storyboarding class, and I passed it, which would make me think like, oh, okay, you can tell a story because you passed a class making storyboards about stories that have nothing to do with your demo reel because you were just doing assignments however you could. And and then brushing them off once you got the A, once you passed, you just crumble it up, throw it out because that's all it is. It was just schoolwork. It wasn't artwork. It wasn't your demo reel. And I certainly didn't know to apply, you know, to try to apply that storyboard class to my demo reel. I probably could have had a demo reel with, 4 years worth of experience put on there rather than a demo reel with 9 months of vigor put in there. Um, yeah. So I did the right thing, and I said I'm gonna make another demo reel, and I'm gonna make it better. And the reason why I know it's gonna be better is because it's gonna have a story. Because I know I can make my drawings move. So now I just need to tell a story and then make my drawings move. I had the right idea, and I found my story. And I talked about this on a past stream. I don't remember what episode. Uh, let me see. But and it's on my website very briefly, so you can see like small trails of evidence for it. And I was like, okay, make a demo reel, tell a story. You don't know how to tell a good story. And I wasn't willing to take the time off to learn how to write a good story. Um, like I had done recently, like the work that I'm working on now, all this concept work that I do now, it's because I finally decided, like, okay, I'm gonna take the time off. I'm gonna learn how to write. I wrote a story. I have a fuck of a story to tell. um, and and I bit the bullet and I took years off of doing artwork just to write, and it paid off. So now I get to do all this dope shit. Oh shit, now I'm bumping shit. Now I get to do all this dope shit, working on character concepts, drawing little portraits, you know, finally getting back to exercising and little exercises like that, doing portraits and character stuff, get to make up dope characters like this guy, get to do artwork that's just gonna further promote. Like this was done for some merch, but I was like, you know what? I'm in the middle of designing this character, so one thing is gonna feed the other. It all ties in together. I get to make dope shit like this. I get to make these little environment set pieces, and I get to make maps. I mean, I took years off to learn how to write, and once I started writing, just like I did everything else, just like I've been drawing my entire life, just like I picked up graphic design on my own, just like, uh, yeah, just like that shit. I taught myself how to write. I wrote a fuck of a story. What a, but back then, we're talking around 2013, so almost a decade ago. I wasn't willing to do that. So in watching where movies were going, comic book movies and things like that, and me being a big Tarantino fan, and in turn being a big Robert Rodriguez fan, which made me a big fan of Sin City, and seeing Marvel kick off and start doing what Marvel had begun doing at that point, 5 years after Iron Man came out. You know what I mean? So they were still probably, I don't know when Avengers came out, maybe 2012 or something. Uh, but either way, um, there we go. Oh, I didn't take any pictures while I was. That's what happens when I ramble. God damn it. Oh well. Just draw like a kid, right? That's the whole point of this stream. Um, so I when I graduated, uh, well, I graduated 2010, so we're fast forwarding 3 years, 2013, and I'm finally working on something. And like I said, in lieu of all the all the comic book stuff going on, and I'm a big DC animated movie fan as well. I'm a DC fan, but in particular, I really like their animated movies, and and like Gotham Knight. Oh my God, it's still my favorite, and it was like the first one that they did, and it was because they got like anime artists to make it. Now they got Ninja Batman or Batman Ninja, where they did something similar. But it was like, but Gotham Knight, if you don't have that, buy that. Gotham Knight. It's well, let me not stop because it's already late. Um, Gotham Knight, look it up. It'll be it'll be the a series of movies that DC hired anime directors to build a to create a movie. So it was like a series of shorts, but they all kind of mixed together to tell one overall story, you know, more or less. But either way, they got like the best of the best directors to put these things together. They got the creators of Tekken King Crete. They got the guys who did the Animatrix. They got a whole bunch of people. Um, so you have like 4 or 5 different movies or little short movies all building one big movie, and it's all Batman, and it's an anime Batman. It's fucking dope. It's old at this point, but it's fucking dope. Uh, it that's the movie that got me into C4, uh, or 4C Studios or C4 Studios, 4C. I believe it's 4C. Um, it's when I learned about that studio, and that's when I learned to start caring about studios and who's making what. At least that's when I started. You know what I mean? I'm still very selfish in my pursuits where it's like if I like your shit, then I'm going to go follow. You know what I mean? And then I'll sing your praises, just like how I started this with Jung Gi. If I like your shit, I'm going to follow and I'm going to sing your praises. But it's all very selfish. I don't go out of my way unless it's something that like really strikes me. And that Batman Gotham Knight and DC movies, let me get back on track. DC movies, just in general, had my attention at the time. So I was like, you know what? That's what I'm gonna do. That's gonna be my second demo reel. I have a YouTube channel. I had it way back then. There's a good 7 year gap, and I'm leading up to why that is on my YouTube channel. If you check it out, um, so um, well, I mean, long story short, my computer began crashing sometime after I graduated, and I don't really know why, but it started, it crashed. I fixed it. It crashed. I fixed it. It crashed, and I couldn't fix it anymore. Um, Student loans, minimum wage, just, you know, everything seemed like it was meant to be. At some point, you just have to let life happen. And yeah, that's what life had in store for me. I was in the middle of it, and again, it's on my webpage, uh, under animations and videos. I kind of detailed the story in there, but not really because I don't want to bog people down and potential hires or whatever. Uh, but I started making it, man. And I had decided to make a Conan story because I was into Conan comics, and there wasn't really too much Conan content out there. But if you look at my demo reel, like I'm obviously into action and animation stuff, like action scenes. And I mean, who's carrying more action than Conan? Nobody. Like Conan's over here chopping people's heads off and chopping limbs off and running around bloody and scaling walls and you know what I mean, getting into fist fights and you know what I'm saying? Like Conan's a beast. So I was like, yo, I'm gonna make this Conan animation. I hope Dark Horse likes it. I hope, you know, anybody who likes comics likes it. But at the end of the day, it was something that I wanted to do. And then I had all the time in the world to make it, but I didn't want all the time in the world. I understood that it took me 9 months to make a 90-second demo reel the first time. And I didn't know how long I was going to make it, but I decided on the shortest story and the most compelling story I could tell. And it's a story called The Frost Giant's Daughter. And so I set out to do that. As I set out to work on the Frost Giant's Daughter storyline and make an animation for that and base the animation off of the comic book that Dark Horse was making at the time. And just like Robert Rodriguez made Sin City and used the comic book panels to make it fairly accurate, very accurate. Um, I was gonna do the same method. I hope Rodriguez likes that demo reel. You know what I'm saying? Like I hope he sees that and is like, holy shit! Look at this kid. Look at what he made. Look at like how I've inspired someone to do something that awesome. Because, well, at least that's where my head was at. That's where my heart was at. I don't know if that was a step in trying to regain that childhood, the child in me that I had lost by pursuing that project, but again, computer crashed, man. I had just finished the storyboards. I had created the animatics to time it out so that way I can learn how long this video animation was going to be and try to cut out as much as I could. And then I think it was going to end up being like a 3 minute thing, which would have been twice as long. But it had like 3 acts to it because it's such a short story, but because, Robert E. Howard, the original writer, is a master at his craft. He wrote a three-part story, but it was still a short story, and each of those short 3 parts were going to be at least a minute long. It dealt with Conan. It was an introduction of like a battle scene of Conan being a sole survivor of a battle. A lot of his stories start that way. And then him walking alone after the battle's over. A lot of his stories go that way. I read the Conan books. I have them, the originals. Um, and then he passes out in the snow because he's, you know, fucked up from the battle. And he gets awakened by the... He's awakened by this hot chick, essentially. And he's like tripping because he's like, what? Like, I'm like dying out here. Am I tripping? Like, who's this hot chick? And she's kind of like teasing him, and Conan being Conan, he's like, all right, you want to do all this? Like, I got you. Oh, you know what? I did tell myself I was gonna bust out the brush pen, so I might as well do that and try to fast forward this a little bit. So after Conan tries to like puff out his chest at her, she be like, "Man, you ain't shit," and then she like dips out on him. So he chases her because they're just two people out in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of this like blizzard. And So, he's chasing her and she's running. And because he's not at full strength, like, it's easy for her to just kind of dodge him and whatever. And she's just like having fun with him at this point. And then she lures him into a trap where her brothers are hiding in wait for Conan. And then so these frost giants kind of pop out of the snow. And then now Conan has to fight these frost giants who are funny enough. I'm like, damn, why are these frost giants trying to kill Conan in the first place? But either way, Conan has to like defend himself against these giants that are trying to kill him. Now that I think about it, I really don't know why they're trying to kill him. Or maybe I just forgot. But either way, he has to fight the giants. He dispatches them. And now it's just him and the girl. And now he's like really fired up because he's like, yo, I just came from battle. I passed out in the blizzard. Now you teasing me. You lured me into this trap. And now she's like shook because she was like, oh shit, I don't got. She's like, I don't got my brothers here to help me out. So like Conan's like, all right, I got you now. And then he like jumps at her, lunges at her, and then she screams out for her father to save her. And then this like basically Tetsuo satellite beam laser comes and shoots down from the sky to zap her up, but also knocks Conan out. And then Conan wakes up later on and he's like, oh, that must have all just been a dream. Like, that's some bullshit. But then he looks over at his hand and he sees the girl's clothes that he like ripped off of her when he lunged at her, and he grabbed her clothes right before she got beamed up. So, and then that's where it ends. It ends on a like, oh, I guess it wasn't bullshit. Like, he really did go through all that. Like, oh shit. And it's a simple story. And I had created animatics just so I could time it out and try to see what I can cut out, and I cut out a little bit because obviously there's like dialogue and stuff, and I wasn't trying to do like all the dialogue and everything like that. I was like, let me just animate and let me try to tell a story without words. Samurai Jack. You know what I'm saying? Gendy Tartakovsky. Like, I'll pull whatever reference I need to in order to accomplish my goals, you know what I'm saying? I was like, hey, if Gendy can do it, I can do it. If Rodriguez can do it, I can do it. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm wild like that. But yeah, and I had set out to do that. You can go to my website. You can see the storyboards I created. You can see the ones that I cut. You can, there's links on there on my website to my YouTube page to watch those specific animatics. And the animatics are rough. They were just there for timing. But, they're animatics nonetheless. They're just not like top notch. Mind you, I was 24 years old when I made those, and still working and living on my own and still had student loans. You know what I mean? So all that was going on. And after I timed it out, I was just like, okay, ain't nothing to it but to do it now. I started creating the production for it. I started making the backgrounds. Like I said, all the work was already done. Like, all this concept work that I'm doing for what I wrote now, all that shit was already done for the Conan shit. The character designs were done. They were in the comic. The storyboards were done. They were in the comic panels. The the everything was done. All I had to do was begin the production. So I start making production, and I start making animations. I had a light table. I had, uh, the Art Institute of Fort Lauderdale is closed now. It doesn't exist anymore. The school closed down. Of course it did. Um, because it promised students a life that that school couldn't deliver on. Do you think I'm bitter? And but back then it wasn't. So I would revisit the school and use the hole puncher to punch holes in paper so I can like animate to them. So I can, turn like regular printing paper into animation paper. And I was going to animate it. I had Toon Boom. I had the Adobe Creative Suite. I had all that shit on my computer. Again, there wasn't anything to it but to do it. And I was doing it. Damn it. And I don't know if any of the short videos of the finished shots were done because I know I was going it shot by shot and uploading it shot by shot. But I don't know if like I got past like the first shot or if even that one got up. I know I started animating it pretty, within a few shots in, but they never made it. They never made it to YouTube. I only know that and remember that now because of when I was creating my website and I was throwing up all my old work from like 25 years ago. Um, I saw some of the animations that I made and I was like, oh, this was the Conan project that never was. And yeah, man, that again, uh, this all started from the Jung Gi thing, about being the kid and how I allowed adulthood to bastardize my work. I'm so desperate to get into the industry. I was so desperate to, think that just any other job is just gonna make me happy. You know, I'm so desperate for the approval of being told like, no, you're like to be told I'm good enough or I'm worthy enough. That I'm not some bum with an income problem. You know, and in that pursuit, and after that computer crash, and I lost that, and then I didn't have the money. I didn't have any money to go out and buy another computer. I couldn't fix it anymore. It already been fixed and patched up twice before that. There were no more fixes. Like, oh shit. So, I mean, that might have been me trying to get that kid back. And when that computer crashed and I lost it and I lost everything, it was just like, you know, um, it's sad. Pretty fucking pathetic. I mean, but again, all that did, it it never stopped me. It stopped me from making animations because I didn't have Toon Boom anymore. I didn't have the software to, you know, make the sound effects and create the videos, and I didn't have I didn't have that. But again, I'm an artist. I draw. I'll never stop drawing. So I just took to traditional art. Here I was, working graphic design. That's all digital bullshit. Um, I shouldn't say bullshit. I don't want to sound like it's bad. There's nothing wrong with it. But you know what I mean? Like, it's all digital, and it's not what I wanted to do. Again, it was just a job. And I was self-teaching myself that while I was going through all this. And and it all it did was open up the opportunity to work traditionally. And that's what I had done my entire childhood. So instead of complaining about not being able to afford a computer or not being able, I just told myself, I'll get it back one day. I'll get it back one day. Not anytime soon, but I'll get it back. You gotta have goals. Uh, I wouldn't get a computer until I got the laptop that I'm using last year. I got that laptop, I think, back in February of last year. And, it's a 2012 MacBook, and it has the Adobe on there. And I thought I was going to be able to do video editing and all that other stuff, and come to find out, like, it doesn't have, like, the RAM power to do it and all that. But that's a different thing. Um, Losing that computer back in 2013 just presented me with the opportunity to go back to my roots, go back to being that child, and and do traditional work again, put the pencil to the paper again. But now here I am, uh, older and a man and in my 20s, and I need to work and I need to get paid, so I can't just like dilly dally. I can't just do some bullshit. I can't just draw whatever the fuck I want anymore. I need to draw something that matters. And now I can't draw the Conan shit. Like, I could draw Conan, but why would I do that? Like, it's not what I wanted to draw. It was the demo reel that I wanted to make sure, because it was a means to an end. But now the end is gone. So now I need a new means. And I didn't know what to do anymore. So I was like, I guess I'll just illustrate like how I used to when I was a kid before college and all that shit. Now I know how to use Photoshop and Illustrator, so maybe I can use those, you know, like at work and shit. Maybe I can get into digital stuff, or I was already doing digital stuff before the computer crashed, but I mean, either way, like maybe I can just do the traditional work. And I started doing that, but I didn't know how to find work in it. Like, I didn't know how to make it relevant. I didn't know how to make money from it. Because again, it was hammered in my head that I don't have a money problem, I have an income problem. So income is always on my mind. Because, you know, I would like, I don't need to be filthy rich, but if I lose a computer, I would like to be in a position where I can get a computer. And I understand computers are expensive, but, so there's obviously a degree of wealth required for that, but it's like, yeah, I don't think that's asking for too much. I could only imagine if I could have afforded a computer and had that one crash and then like traded it in or sold it for peanuts and then used whatever money as a down payment for like a proper computer. Like all of that wasn't even an option back then. Like so so yeah, that's what I mean by having an income problem is like I couldn't even take care of myself. Now I'm in a position in life where I can't just think about myself anymore. There are other people out there depending on me, and I can't let them down. And it seems like everything I've ever done was just a letdown. I mean, I quit my job back in December at graphic design because I just I couldn't do it anymore. Doing work that I don't want to do for people who I don't want to do it for. So, and again, it was all just like, just to survive, man. I don't know. All I know is that I wasn't happy, and I know that the people I was working with weren't happy, and that's just not a good place to be. It, commiserating, commiserating with people who treat you like the enemy when you're there to work with each other every day. Man, that's a special kind of hell, man. And I had to sit there and think to myself, like, what's this for? Because, I mean, look at it this way. I worked my way up the graphic design chain and I trained graphic designers. I don't even have a graphic design degree. Like, I learned that shit and I was good at that shit. But the people that I'm working with, they're graphic designers. The people that I trained, they're graphic designers. Like, that's the shit that they like. That's the shit that they want to do. So it's like I get to train them and I get the pleasure of like, making them happy and they're grateful to learn things and you set them up on a career path and you teach them the ways, but there was no one there to teach me how to get the fuck out. You know what I mean? Because all the graphic designers there, they're where they want to be. I mean, whether they're happy or not with the job, that's a different thing. But as far as a career goes, like they're doing what they want to do, and that's why I was like, man, I don't even mind if I would hate my job at Disney. At least I'd be working at Disney or a gaming company or you know, an animation studio, just anything. Like I don't even care if I'd hate the job. At least I'd be a step closer to doing what I want to do. And I could at least be grateful that it's like, oh my God, all the student loan debt, all the all the study, all the everything that I've had to go through in order to get to that position, it would have all been worth it. I haven't even gotten there. I'm still just like, you know, Put the diploma up on the toilet paper rack, man. Because it ain't doing anything. It didn't do anything but give me debt and sap my money. And then even the school that gave it to me doesn't exist anymore. It's a fucking joke, man. I mean, all of that to just say, like, I lost it somewhere. I lost that kid in me. That's why it's such a struggle for me. And you know, it could be for other people, but I'm not aware, and I'm not gonna sit here and speak for them. I could only tell like my truth or whatever. So yeah, man, that's why that quote meant so much to me. Because I see what he's doing. Jung Gi. I see what he does. And it's like, you know, one of the last things I told the sales guy at that job that I quit back in December, because he was just like, yeah, what's up? What you gonna do? You know, that's what people always want to know. And I was like, I just told him my goal at that point. You know what I mean? Without even getting into details, I was just like, I want to get in a gallery, man. I want to make art and have my art hang in a gallery. That's it. Because that's all I can do at the moment is just produce art. I still don't have the means to make an animation or anything like that. How we looking? And I hate it because it's like I know that's asking for a lot to in this world be an illustrator worthy of having a museum be like, "Hey, we want you in here. Like get in here. Put some shit up on the walls here." Like that is asking for a lot. You know, when I was in 3rd grade, I drew a fire truck and they hung it up in a Burger King for Fire Safety Month, all month long. I guess it was like a Burger King that was down the street from the firehouse or something like that. But either way, you know, I had that when I was in elementary school. It was one of the proudest things. that I'd ever done, you know. I couldn't even tell you what it looked like or anything like that. I'm sure I drew like a red truck of some sort. There's probably a ladder in there. I don't know. Um, when I was in college, I had some work hang up on the wall. That was cool. Um, I don't know. I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. But it's like, why? I just don't know. I don't know. I don't know what happened. Okay, we gotta finish this thing at some point. But yeah, I, I don't know. You know, to be completely honest, um, yeah, that quote means a lot. You know, I kind of didn't want to come back on here and stream, and then I read that right before I made that post. And because I had, you know, some time left in my day, I was like, I don't have any excuse not to. And I said, just go on there and just draw. Just draw something. Oh shit. Did my phone just die? It did. That's not good. Well, at least drawing this made me feel a little bit better. At least I feel a little bit redeemed for the bit of disappointment I had on how this one turned out. I like the pose, I just hate the background color. I don't know what to do about it. Is there anything else I want to do? Probably not, right? Should probably just let it be. Yeah. Time for me to retire this one, sleep it off, and yeah, I'll be back. maybe there is something I want to do. Well, that's gonna be it for this one. I was clearly not suited to be live streaming, so I apologize. Um, and yeah, I'm just glad to get one out, get one done and out of the way. And I guess I will be dedicating this page to this character because why wouldn't I? And yeah, tomorrow, uh, don't know what I'll be working on next. We'll just see, man. I'm gonna go sleep on it. Maybe I don't know. Probably put on. I have no idea what I'm gonna do. Put on a Miyazaki film, go to sleep to, or something like that. I don't know. Either way, I'm G Mr. Drew. That's at G Mr. Drew on all socials. You can follow, like, and subscribe. Links are in my bio. And gmrdrew.art, my website. Go check me out. I'm updating it every week. And, so there's always new stuff to go check out there. And it's 25 years worth of artwork that I've done. So there's definitely always something new for you to find. Um, and yeah, man, you've been watching the Andrew Glowczewski Experience, episode 119, character concept art. And just here to remind you to don't let the kid inside you die. Yeah.